with your Wi-Fi. Like, I'm taking a big risk here, mate. You better be fucking grateful for it. Like, that Wi-Fi at the start of this call was fucking shocking, mate. But anyway.
Nah, I think stalling for Wi-Fi is actually great content.
To be fair, yeah. Yeah, I think the thumbnail of this live stream at the moment is an apple. That looks like a tit, but that's fine. So yeah,
it's welcome.
Welcome one and all. So the title of this live stream is "How to Be Socially Free in a Socially Anxious World." Now, for anybody who doesn't know yet, you're quite the cult legend on my channel. We've made 2 videos together, which are both overperformed, done very well. So the people obviously like you. My average video gets about 10 views, but the ones that we've made together, they're going way over like 10,000. So I'm very happy. So you've started making your own content now, which I'm very happy about. So do you want to just introduce yourself to the guys for anybody who doesn't know yet? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm.
I'm really, it's very, very, very. Is effectively 2 components. One being social freedom that I've obviously come to really value in my own life. So just being able to talk to people, build connections, not being shit scared of anyone and everyone. And then the second part, which is something I found kind of through this journey with you, but just kind of like looking up, like, oh, how do I do things like we all do? Everyone's Googling, oh, how do I get over AA? Oh, how do I speak? What do I say? And that is this kind of emotional, spiritual journey as to, oh, like, what actually is this stuff that's going on deep inside my mind? And why is it affecting me so much? And why am I so completely clueless as to how to deal with it? And to be honest with you, that has now become, I'd say, quite a passion and quite a practice. I'd say it's really one of the kind of same pillars of self-development, just kind of like exercise, just sort of like learning skills is.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned that you don't do the approaching anymore, and like I'm happy to announce that the reason for that is because you've obviously found yourself a lovely relationship, right? So that yeah, that's one of the nicest.
Yeah, exactly.
That's one of the nicest things for me. Like I think, like Dan always told to me, this industry has got a shelf life, and I think guys who are getting into it, they're getting into it because they do want to have those nourishing relationships. You know, they want to meet somebody who really ticks all their boxes, and then you have that, and it's like you know when to leave. You know, you've got your exit strategy in place, and yeah, I think like you got out of the process what you wanted to get out of it, which is beautiful for me. And I'm not saying like this relationship is going to go on until you're old and grey. Like we don't know, right? The world is an uncertain place. It's impossible to ever know these things. But I do think you played the game really well, because obviously I remember when you first got in contact with me. I remember you sent an email through actually, and it was a Sunday, and I responded to it because at the time I think I had about 2 subscribers. I was like, oh fuck me, an email. This is nice. The content's working, and yeah, I got the email from you. Obviously, we worked together. We did our session in London, and yeah, no, it's been beautiful to see your process and like yeah, just watch you progress over the years. And I now consider you as one of my best friends as well. Like, and I think
likewise.
Yeah, and that's I think that's probably my favorite thing that I've got from doing this. It's not the girls, it's not the traveling to new places, it's not the metrics on whatever social media platform. It's the masculine connections that I've been able to make because, like, as you know, like growing up, I didn't have any social contact. I didn't have any
Mm.
romantic contact. But I find like having like that masculine brotherhood has been very therapeutic to me. And I really do honor the friendship that we've got. And it's important for me to be able to help you as much as possible on your journey of
Mm.
growth, not just the
Mm.
cold approach side of things, but the content, the spiritual growth, the relation, all of it. Like
Mm.
whenever you need anything, then you know that I'll be here for you because you you were able to give me optimism that what I was doing was helping people. So yeah, it's good. It's good for me to still have this connection with you.
Yeah, likewise, Brad. I know every time we do one of these streams, we then take it the opportunity to like jack each other up so much and be like, "Oh, bro, I love you." It's never said off camera since we're on mine. We're like, "Bro, you're it, buddy." But yeah, no, for sure, mate. And yeah. So I think actually an interesting point on that and being in a relationship now. It was actually really difficult, and I know I was kind of toing and froing for a long time,
Mm,
because obviously it's kind of the norm in in this world that it's not spoken about to like be in a relationship. The idea is kind of like excess and excess and excess, um and I get that, but then I think it just really got to the point where it's like this real human part of me was
mm,
just like, you're like what like if you've been all this off because you wanted to keep going on this path that you set out on all this time ago. It's like, to what end are you doing it for, and
mhm.
how much are you willing to sacrifice? And honestly, it was really difficult. And I think, but maybe a little aspect to it now, it still kind of is a little bit difficult to just fully remove yourself from that way of thinking. um but I guess it's just, it's so on the back end that it's not really considered, because you just forever feel like maybe you're in the thick of it.
Mm,
But like I said, it's to what end are you doing all of this? And I think as well, similarly covering what you're saying about the friendships and stuff like that, it's like, okay, so you come on board, you learn some social skills. Okay, now you've maybe met some dudes that you like, that you do learn social skills with. Maybe you meet them dudes and you actually like just hanging out with them and just doing other stuff. Like you
yeah,
just like hanging out, like chilling, going cinema. And it's like, okay, now you've maybe got a girl or some girl, like you're dating. You've
mm,
got more mates.
yeah,
You've now been inspired to, oh, okay, I've actually got a bit of a passion and I want to go and try and do some new hobbies. I want to go and do this. Met some new guys through that. Oh, work seems to be going. I'm seemingly to be enjoying work better, and I've got some more aspirations for kind of what I want to do with my career. And this is actually like development, and that's kind of why I've always said this. It's like doing the cold approach can be such a gateway, because you're ultimately just conquering fears, which can then just spread into so many areas of your life. But I guess we've never done a real deep dive on that. But that is effectively it. It's like you've got relationship, you've got friends of friends, you've got all these pockets of stuff going on, you've got aspiration in yourself, and you just feel great dabbling and having all these areas of your life kind of all culminating all at once.
yeah. That just resonates so much with where I'm at in this particular season of my life. Like, obviously, I spent a big chunk of the first few years really teaching day game. That's what I did. Like,
Mm,
guys came to me. I was a service provider. I helped them
mm,
overcome those self-limiting beliefs so they can talk to girls. I still do that, and I still believe that I'm one
mm,
of the best people actually helping guys with this skill set because my passion is there
mm-hmm,
for it, and I thoroughly believe that every man is a rite of passage. It's like going into the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights. I think any self-respecting man should be able to do this, but the way that my offer has uh, adapted now is it's not
mm,
day game, it's not night game, it's life game. It's helping guys become the most complete version of themselves and to be the most complete
mm,
version of yourself where you're able to operate from this place of wholeness rather than from this place of lack. You need more than just the skill of cold approach. Like you say, cold
mm,
approach is the gateway drug that allows you to start realizing your potential as a man, right? I say, look, if you can cold approach and if you become really good at it, you can do anything that you set your mind to. I truly believe that. But now, as well as actually teaching this skill set, my goal now is I want everyone who's associated with me to win. You know, I want us all to
Mm.
get more girls, make more money, live a life free from bullshit. It's not just one thing anymore. And that's why when guys come and work with me now, they realize there's so much more going on here than just cold approach. It's holistic. And obviously, we're making this live stream about the topic of social freedom. And from what I've seen of your videos, your mission appears to be helping guys become more socially free in a socially anxious world. So, can you go more into maybe first of all defining what you actually think social freedom is?
Yeah. So I think how I would have wanted, now looking back, to learn social skills would have been to not have this like lens imprinted on me of, oh, it's all about girls. But the issue with that is that everyone's going to face, it's the difference between what you want and what you need. And I promise
Mm,
you, people who want, um or people who need like just broad social skills, they're not googling how to talk to people. They are googling how to get fit girls in my bed yesterday. um, so I think what I'm trying to do here is bridge the gap between what I think would have done me, and I'm sure lots of guys out there now like me, a world of good, which is just learn to speak to all different types of people in all different types of situations, um, with not correct, but with like a mindful element of like, okay, where's this all coming from?
mm.
And sorry, and what was your question? Defining social freedom,
Yeah,
and to define social freedom,
yeah, what it
I,
means to you.
I would just put it simply as just being able to interact with the world without feeling reserved or stifled, like you are, like that kind of invisible wall as ever is in front of us and preventing us from just doing what we'd like to do.
Mm. And for you then, because obviously you've been on this journey of personal growth for a decent amount of time now. Like,
Yeah.
what were your biggest obstacles coming into this whole thing? You maybe in the cold approach setting, but I mean, I'm sure you still battle with certain fears and emotions that hold you back. Like, what do you find are those maybe self-limiting beliefs or negative thought patterns that you've had to overcome, or maybe ones that you're still
Mm.
overcoming now?
Yeah, and these are the ones that I'm still wrestle with the most now, and they kind of took me a long while to realize. And that is, for one, just like fear of confrontation.
Hmm.
So I realized that was actually stifling me a lot when I was out. It was this kind of existential dread that confrontations could happen where at the point where I'm being publicly embarrassed or beaten up. Like, that's not what I'm thinking. But that's kind of the mindset in the back of my mind, that like it's all about to go off now, and I should not be doing this for
Mm.
for physical harm. And then the other main one was and is, it's just this feeling of just not being good enough. And I don't really understand where or why this comes from, but I'm sure we all deal with it to some extent. But effectively, it's just, you cannot go over and you cannot speak to people because it's like they're on a different plane to you, like you're lesser than them. And even now, I do have to catch myself thinking that, and then not kind of then play into the drama that kind of thought wants to then unfold. So kind of, I don't know, this is like really like a cliche thing to say in terms of like mindfulness meditation, but it's just like observing that thought of madness when it comes into your mind,
Hmm.
and then just distancing yourself from it and not letting it take over and playing into that program that you know is not true and does not serve you.
And like, I'm curious. Like, how do those thoughts like play out when you're in relationship now? Because obviously, I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, I think like I'm hypothesizing here, but I think sometimes guys may think like getting the girl or like having the relationship is like the end to all their problems. But I actually think relationships are the ultimate self-improvement exercise. I think when you're in a relationship with another human being who you really care for, I think that holds a mirror up to you. And I think it's one of the best ways to actually develop yourself as a man because it's no longer just about you, it's about the both of you. So, like, how do you find the relationship maybe
Mm.
has helped you overcome these things,
I,
or has it amplified them more? I don't know. I'm curious.
I tell you what, my mum told me this a long time ago, and I only got it recently. And I guess she was saying effectively like one day you'll meet someone,
Mm,
and then everything kind of topples, everything falls on its head,
mm,
and you just get the world from like a different perspective. And then I probably saw on the internet like years gone by something like something along the lines of like when a guy meets a good woman, it just kind of like changes their life. And that is so true because you're willing. One, I guess you've got their belief that they're like, oh no, like you got this, and that kind of validates you
mm,
from like a standpoint of love and makes you feel very normal. But also you've got a purpose that's a lot bigger than yourself. So when you're alone,
mm,
if it's all about what can I achieve, who can I be with,
mm,
it doesn't kind of fill your cup in the same way of like dreams of like bringing together multiple families, bringing yourselves together, potentially like having children and stuff down the line. Like that is aspiring for truths like family, love, togetherness, blah blah blah, all this stuff that will forever stimulate and give you more kind of strength and power to go and act these things out than selfish
mm,
desires ever will. Like even if you have really highly motivated, strong, um, selfish desires, they're most likely coming from like a dark place. Well, no, but I mean, like they are coming from a dark place. They're coming from like ego, pride, and it's like, yeah, okay, that can be really, really motivating, and I'm sure like millions of people have gone and achieved things off the back of that. But given the choice, like it's an obvious. If you had like full awareness to make that choice, it's a no-brainer which one you would choose. I'm not saying like everyone needs to be in a relationship and needs to be doing that, but it's just like I think just acknowledging that as like a fact, obviously caring more about
mm,
other people, including yourself, as opposed to just solely what you can get.
mm. Oh, did you? Are you finished?
Yeah,
Oh, right. Sorry, I thought you were going to continue talking. No, like I was. My mind was like there was like fireworks going off in my mind as you were
yeah,
talking. Like, cause
yeah.
go on.
The difficulty of streaming is it's like I have like lots of thoughts, but then spitting them out coherently can
No,
be
no, no,
quite
it's fine.
challenging.
It doesn't need to be coherent. It's that's
That's,
like conversations are chaotic at best, and like I
yeah, this is chaotic.
these are sort of streams I want. I want to talk to somebody who is able to say things and then takes me off course. But yeah, no, I was just thinking then like I would say my motivations definitely come from a place of pain, like a dark place, like, and I think that
Mm,
like the shadow side of the human existence
mm,
is very liberating. And I think emotions like anger or stress or anxiousness or feeling depressed, I think all of those emotions can be forged and carved in a way which serves you. But I think
mm,
intermittently, I don't think you can depend on those emotions. I don't think it's a healthy way of living to always be
mm,
in the
mm,
shadows. And I agree that what I find very frustrating is there's a lot of voices, especially online, where they've got the mantra of the whole like ignore women for years, right? Be on your path, be on your mission. Women are going to detract from your purpose. I think that's the biggest pile of horseshit going, and I think it really is fucking guys up. I think it's causing guys to get rid of girls who actually serve their lives. I think it's telling guys that they basically need to castrate themselves, that the feminine energy is somehow bad, right? And I just think
mm.
this is an awful way of living. Like someone who I listen to a lot is a guy called Aubrey Marcus. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
No.
No, he's a mate of Joe Rogan, but he says that most men are frustrated because they currently lack love from the feminine, right? Most men are frustrated because they currently lack
Yeah,
from the feminine. And I
you're big
think,
on this.
yeah, because I just think that men are better when they've got a great woman by their side. I just think that.
Mm.
Now, I don't have a monogamous relationship at the moment, but I do have love filtering in from the feminine,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
I've got girlfriends, like not capital G girlfriend, but I am receiving that nourishing energy from the feminine. It might just be over
Yeah.
it might be over a WhatsApp message. It might be
Mm.
like a date on the evening. It might be a girl who I'm with, who I'm like like intimate with, whatever. I've got that energy like filtering through, and
Mm.
women are basically my muse, right? I think like any great thing that I've accomplished in my life, it's been either the desire to bring women into my life or the motivating force of the muse of the feminine. So point being, I think
Mm.
it's easy to get brainwashed by the brain dead in the current culture, where it makes guys feel bad if they have a
Mm.
relationship with a great woman. I think that's truly
Yeah.
sad, because everything guys do is to receive love from the feminine anyway. It's why you go into the gym. It's why you go on fucking monk mode.
Yeah.
It's why you're traveling to fucking Thailand to go and hashtag find yourself. It's because you want to have this love from the feminine. So let's just stop kidding ourselves and
Yeah.
pretending
Yeah.
that we don't care. Oh, like men go their own way. Like, what are you talking about? Men go, you're going your own way because you don't think that you're worthy of love from the feminine. That's why you're
Yeah.
doing it. It's not to go
Mm.
and make fucking 7 figures. What are you going to do? You're making 9 figures a year and you're sad and lonely. The whole reason you started was because
Yeah.
you wanted to be validated by the feminine. So let's just stop like pretending that we're not doing it for that reason. And yeah, have you found that now? You said it anyway, that you feel as though you're making greater strides in your life. Do you think that's a big part of that is because of the relationship that you're in, or what?
I want to say, yeah. For first of all, I remember thinking this when I was a teenager, and it's just like, yeah, like if girls didn't exist, like
Oh,
who the fuck would care? Who the fuck would care? Who's a banker and like who does bins? Like,
so
I
true.
don't fucking care. Like I don't fucking care.
There's
Like I
no
could
point
like
in
do
being
what,
here
like whatever.
anymore.
Like oh mate, he's. It's like, yeah, what, bro? Who cares? We're all just gonna bump each other anyway. Like, who cares? I've got no motive. Like, why are you going gym, bro? Like, honestly, like, what's the point? Oh, wow, your muscles are big. Like, nice one, bro. Like, there's no girls. Who cares? And it's so true, isn't it? And I think you can see that like
And like,
almost like primally as like teenagers or whatever. It's like when you're not bothered about doing homework and stuff like that, you're always bothered about doing stuff that kind of gets you attention, that gets you connections.
mm,
That's why parallel. You hear about some girls and they'll get up at literally like early hours, crack of dawn, to be doing their makeup and stuff like that. Okay, why is that? That's for like some element of validation. Why are some kids who are literally like unwilling to lift a pen, like myself or whatever, when they're teenagers, but then they like really want to be into like their exercise or whatever, or they've got they'll I'm not in like physical bodies parallel to genders, not perfectly. I don't know why I'm being so PC on your channel. I really don't think anyone cares.
mate, this is like this is basically like Rumble. Like this is like freedom of speech
Yeah.
central here.
Oh my. If you don't say enough naughty shit, they kick you
Who's
off.
gonna be listening? The 6 people who are watching.
Bro, they'll get me one day, bro. In 4 years, I'll be on my case. I'll be done.
To be fair, mate, if we hit double figures on this live stream, that's fucking personal best. You usually get like one
Oh,
viewer, and that's
oh,
Dan. Guarantee,
bro, bro,
I guarantee he's listening to this.
hold my beer, bro. You know who this is. I'm bringing in at least 5K
Yeah, this live
of my
stream.
loyal subset of the Casanovian channel.
Are you
They
down
mobilize,
to
buddy.
are you down to make video 3.0 when I return to London?
Oh my god, bro! I would love to make them
Do you know what we
3.0.
could do?
They
Do
I
you know,
think we just need. I need to just keep on doing them with you until they just stop getting views, because
this is
it's
this is true.
outrageous. It's outrageous how much value that they're creating.
What we should do, yeah, to help skyrocket your growth, I'll put your links down below as well. Once we finish this, we should do a part 1 and 2. So like we do like a social freedom video or like a social demonstration video, like part 1 and
Yeah.
part 2. So then if the guys want to watch part 2, they go over to your channel, and then that's a good way to like cross pollinate. But yeah, I think after this live stream, like, guys are going to be going over to your channel anyway, because I like what you're doing. I like that the focus is not just on like cold approaching girls. It's like talking to strangers, being more social. Okay, let's make it super practical. How do guys become more socially free in a socially anxious world? If I had to sit you down and play a game of Russian roulette with you, and you've got three principles that you can share with the guys, how they can start becoming more socially free, what advice would you give to those guys as somebody who's on that journey himself?
I think I was thinking about this. So basically, like I said, I'm really into all this introspection, and I feel like I'm really on a journey with it now. I appreciate that it's not for everybody. It's like quite heavy, and I think there has to be like at least some small element in you of a spiritual seeker to kind of really want to unpick your emotions like I do. Obviously, for practical things that anyone can do, I honestly think one of the first things I did that was actually the most helpful was just accepting my desires, and then to myself to like, no, you know what, actually, this is something I want to do. So just kind of committing to change, even if you literally haven't done anything, you're just out in your bedroom like, no, you know what, fuck this, I'm going to do something else. And then I think gathering support from people close to you, because in the beginning, I think, and I definitely didn't have this, and that's I didn't have like self validation. So when you want to do things and you want to make changes, you actually just don't trust yourself, and that's why being able to go to someone, hey, look, or like, you know, your friend, whatever, your siblings, this part of my life is just shit. I want to do something about it. I might have to do this like weird thing, cold approach or whatever. I might have to do this or like that, or this is what I want to do, and I just want someone to support me. Like feel really shit. Do that. Literally, that is like if you're literally like right near the bottom, that's what I would do. Just accept it. If you are maybe like a feeling not so shit, but you're like, oh, I'm ready. I want to do this. I'm ready for change. Like some people will just look at you and go, that's a weird skill set. I want to do that. And they don't really have that resistance. Well, at that point, you've just got to make wild, audacious like movements. Like you've actually just got to do something. Like you've got to go out and just take massive action. And it's sometimes like, and we've seen this with guys, and it's just like they're not like you're not necessarily trying to actually do pickup. You're just trying to do something fucking wild that just blows your head off to the point where you're like, whoa, like what is out there, like, you know? Well, it's almost like you're getting out of like some 30-year stifled marriage, and think, fuck, like who am I? What do I want? I can do things. And then lastly, this has just come to me, and this probably again comes from like a more spiritual perspective. It's when you're learning social skills, when you're speaking with people, there will always be some element of like pride, bravado, projecting negativity that you do, and that's completely fine. But I would say the more awareness you can bring around how authentic you are being, the easier and the better you will get at socially. So if you are kind of always wanting to go up and be like, oh yeah, you all right, babe? Oh, how's it going? Yeah, you look so fit today. It's like, come on, bro. You know why that cringes them out? It's not real. It's not. You're not being a real person. And equally, when you go up to someone and you're like, oh hi, I just saw you, and I thought, it's like, again, you're not being real. You don't talk to your mum like that. You're just projecting outrageous amounts. Well, not outrageous, but you're just projecting loads and loads of kind of like fear, already dismissal, failure. Obviously, it's a much bigger task. We can't explain to you the full kind of like coaching process of your psyche in the space of like a few bullet points. But effectively, you've got to will yourself to be more authentic. all the time, and that's the thing that you can obviously build from the ground up. But certainly, I would have done many approaches early days where it's like you're trying to be that guy, you're trying to be someone, and it's just like, bro, listen, we get it. You were hurt. Now you're acting up. Like, just fucking chill out. We're all good. We're all good when you are.
Yeah, I find that's one of the biggest obstacles that guys find, myself included, by the way, in this process, whatever we want to term this process, self-mastery, self-actualization, fucking hashtag picking up girls, whatever it is, it's actually being able to find your own voice in this space, which I think is it can be quite difficult to do, because if you're watching a lot of content, it's easy to mimic what you're seeing online. And just because something that I say works for me, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. And to be able to become like the full amplified, socially free version of you, like, it does take practice. Like, I think social freedom is a practice, and the more activities that you can do which make you feel more socially free, the easier it's going to get. But like, for example, if I spent a year on my own in this room speaking to nobody, then my social anxiety is going to increase because I'm just not exposed to necessary things, and I would become more introverted. But if I force myself to speak to one new person every day for next 30 days, I guarantee I would be feeling more socially free. I'd have more social momentum behind me. So I think we are what we practice. I do believe that. I don't think that anyone is like introvert, extrovert. You are simply a product of your practice. So I think
Yeah, I agree, and I find it really sad that. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go.
I was just going to say I've seen so many people strongly identify with the kind of introvert, and I've met very few people who go, oh, I'm an extrovert. Did you know that I'm an extrovert? And it can be like a real defense mechanism when, like you
Yeah,
say, everything is fluid and it's just a combination again of your past experiences. So have more extrovert
100%.
extrovert.
Right. Like, I do wish that people who meet me today could have met me like 10 years ago, because it's almost unbelievable, like, where I started to where I'm at now. I'm not saying this to be like, oh, look at me, how great I am. No, I've been putting in like reps, a lot of reps for over a decade. But point being, I think I'm a shining example of what can be achieved when you actually just work your bollocks off to become the person that you want to be, right? Like, I like growing up in like a single parent household. I'm an only child. I didn't have any masculine role model growing up. Like, I had severe social anxiety, just like having these fucking sweating fits at school whenever I
Yeah.
got put on the spot to answer questions, just like completely hopeless socially.
Mm,
But I think that's
mm,
how most of us start, though. Like, we're almost like a blank slate, and we have to add our characteristics to ourselves. But I do think that a lot of guys get comfortable in identity that they forged, and then
mm,
they use language to solidify this identity. So let's say they wake up in the morning and they're just like, "Oh, I feel socially anxious," and then they
mm,
don't speak to anybody that day. They don't realize that they are what they practice. They are what they think. You're telling yourself you've got social anxiety, so no fucking wonder you don't want to speak to anybody. If you just say to yourself, "Do you know what? I'm going to go out today. I'm going to speak to one person. That's it, full stop," and then you do it. Well,
mm,
you don't have social anxiety. You just have
mm,
a horseshit mentality. That's all it comes down to. It's your mindset. And I think when you surround yourself with other people, like, you've actually got people to believe in you, or you've got people to
mm,
hold you accountable and call you out on your bullshit. Like, I can't. The amount of guys who I'll coach, and they just say the most ludicrous things that they're not even aware of. They're not
yeah.
even aware of it. It's like, oh no,
Yeah.
I can't speak to that girl. Why? Oh, because like sometimes, like, when I speak to girls, like, I run out of things to say. Shut the fuck up. Everyone runs out of things. Everyone runs out of things to say to girls. It doesn't mean anything. Congratulations, you're a human being. Now let's go over, and
Yeah.
that should be the first thing that comes out of your mouth. You should say, "Excuse me, I've got no idea what to say. I'm probably going to run out of things to say, but I just want to say you look beautiful. Have a good
Mm,
day. Congratulations.
yeah.
You don't have social anxiety. You're just a moron to yourself, and you need somebody to call you out on your bullshit. Otherwise, you go through your entire life thinking you've got a problem when really you don't have any problems. You're just
Mm,
concocting them in your imagination, right? We suffer more in imagination than in reality. And yeah, it annoys me, right? Because guys will criticize me for saying it. Like, oh, you don't know, like, you don't know what my upbringing was like. You don't know, like, my struggle and my problems. No, I don't. But I do know there's a way out of it for you. But at the moment, you're your own worst enemy. So anyway, that was a tirade, but it's important. You still there?
That.
Thanks. Feel better now. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, good. I want to add to that, bud. I find something that's very. I know that like through like at times throughout your life you've been put into like a lots of adversity, like where you've like lived alone, had to go and haven't had to go and do this thing. I know you mentioned on your channel about like how much money and stuff you had left
Yeah.
before you made these big turning points, and I think like when your back is truly pushed against the wall.
Mm.
I know it's ironic because obviously you're not in an easy situation, but I feel like it's almost emotionally easier to fight your
Yeah.
way out, and that's why. And I know, and I don't know how you were like, I would say that my life has definitely been easier. There's been a lot more comfort. Like I've got definitely had more of like a safety blanket around me, through like my family and my upbringing, whatever. And where I want to go with this point is everyone is starting in different places, coming from different places. And I think the skill of yourself as a coach, of me as like a future coach, is being able to advise people or help people discover the steps that they need to take from their own unique background. Because I see you, Kristian, although we're really good friends, I think mentally we operate very differently,
Definitely.
and you are just able to ferociously attack. And it's like, I think for me, if someone, oh, I know George, you're being a pussy, do something, I would be like, oh, fuck you, okay, I'll do it. But
Yeah.
there's certainly an aspect of you where you can really just reduce things down to like kind of clear night date. Just do this, stop doing that, da 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 da, like very authoritarian, yeah.
Yeah.
But that process, I think, is different for everybody due to the nature of kind of the psyche and the experiences that they built out. What is so great about having people around you is that, or especially like talented coaches that have seen these things before, they're able to offer you the advice that you need at certain points in time. Like I've had like, because I've had you as a coach, I've had other coaches, like only you for dating, but I've had other coaches. It's like they've patterns of behaviour that we've had so far has led us here. So what new ones are going to get us somewhere else?
Diego told you to fix your audio, mate.
Diego, mate, these are both quite complex. QC 35.
Message
I haven't got any more money for their
retracted.
audio.
He tried to be socially
This is the
free
premium
and
stuff, buddy.
bottled it. That's so funny. Oh, that's really tickled me. Are you
wants
back?
the Wi-Fi back on. Yeah, I haven't left.
He's like, press on delete. Hey, he took action today. He took action, so that's fine. That's good. But you can't be half a gangster, bro. You have to keep that. You have to keep that comment there. Fix audio. Message retracted. What does he think we're gonna do? Send fucking stealth bombers onto him. That's funny. Anyway, I'll pick up on that because I think my audio is better.
Anthrax through the post box.
Most likely, yeah. To be fair, my audio is shit. But yeah, there was something that you said in terms of like we come from different backgrounds and like different emotions, and like I think like for me, desperation and motivation are basically the same emotions. Like I've succeeded so far because I had to, right? Like there was no alternative. Like I didn't have like the safety blanket, right? It was like it was me versus me. I had the DIY mentality, and I was like, right,
Yeah.
we're gonna make this work regardless. Like, I'll do whatever it takes in order to get to where I want to be, because there was no other option. It's like the whole burning the boats, right? It's like when you make a decision, you kill off all other options, and that's the way that I attack life. It's like
Yeah.
I'm laser focused. When I want to do something, all the other options dissipate. It's like it's this way or no way. But what I
Yeah,
really
you're
enjoy
entirely
is like
self
when
accountable.
100%, it's all on me, right? If I
You've been independent for, well, before I met you.
yeah, yeah, and it's like and it'll always be that way, because I believe that's the best way to operate, where you just take that extreme accountability for yourself. If I fail, it's my fault. If I succeed, it's on me. Like it's the best way of doing it, rather than blaming external sources like my fucking parents, the media, my fucking God. It's like, no, it's on me, you know. But you like speaking about like surrounding yourself with other people. It's so powerful to have various perspectives. Like whenever I've been coaching in London and I've brought you along on like a boot camp to
Yeah.
help out with the other guys, having that alternative perspective is everything to them, right? And that's why, for me, a big part of my coaching philosophy now is network. It's being able to introduce my current clients to my past clients, like getting my former clients along to actually help out with the coaching, to give their perspective. Like if I'm working with a guy who's new and I introduce him to someone who's like 2 weeks into his own process after working with me, you get this beautiful amalgamation of all these different perspectives. And because like I don't know everything, and a guy might resonate with someone else more than he resonates with me, and therefore that guy's able to help that guy more. So I do think having a variety of perspectives is important. I would say that's how my coaching offer has expanded and flourished over probably this past year. Really, it's by introducing clients and networking and cross-pollinating and helping like a rising tide lifts all the boats, just bringing everybody together. I think
Yeah.
that the mastermind principle is one of the most powerful.
Meeting, getting with guys who have kind of also say like you think I want to give this a go. Finding guys who also are like right at the start or kind of in the midst of it, maybe a bit better than you, who just
Yeah.
really have that dog in them and they want to just get out and they just want to they just want to give it to absolutely everybody. Like that's kind of your ideal setup. Because although obviously you are a coach and you are doing this a lot, the mindset that you're doing this from is obviously from a coaching, from a business perspective, right? Like how often are you going out and doing, and even when you are going out and doing it for yourself, you haven't got that kind of raw brashness, that like extreme excitedness.
Mm.
So yeah, it's great to be around like minds who get exactly what you're dealing with.
And like what I wanted to ask you is where like what's the plan for the channel and the content that you're creating now? Like what's the goal
Yeah.
with it? Like where do you see it going?
So basically, don't tell him this, but I found that Ali Abdal's part-time YouTuber thing online, and I was thinking, and he's talking all about, okay, what are like your unfair advantages, where, well, what is not the niche, what is like your super niche, like where can you serve people, especially if you want to do like sort of like how tos. So what I want to do is continue to kind of make social like content, and to be honest with you, that I still need to like a little bit with my skills, because I'm not going out and talking in public that much, but I want to get better at that. But I'm really enjoying is this sort of like introspective element. So kind of beginning to help people understand their emotions better, so that take a bit, but for the point of then being able to train their psyches better to actually get what they want. Literally, yesterday I decided I'm going to pick up that David Hawkins Letting Go again. I'm going to read cover to cover. I'm going to take notes on every page again. I'm gonna just reduce that and boil it down into like various ways to cut it up, just because it's helped me so much. And again, just being able to, so imagine like when you're out there doing cold approach, right? You're feeling like fear, angst, blah blah blah, and if you never learn how to process these emotions, they're just going to be with you forever. So it's like, how do I combine one, the action of actually okay, let's go out and actually do stuff in the world, which is, I guess, like conventional coaching, but then two, how do understand, oh, what is it that's holding me back? One side, yeah, you can actually go out and get these material things that you want, but also you can just feel way better doing it, and you can become like way more aligned to like a higher sense of purpose than what you would do in the beginning. Because in the beginning, right, and you're like just fearful of talking to people and blah blah blah, all your wants and what you perceive as your needs, well, like, yeah, no, sorry, all your needs and what you perceive as your wants, they are totally different to what kind of they should be. So you're kind of always working off of a false map. And I think, like, similar to me what we were saying right at the start of this conversation, when you realize, oh no, like a relationship would be really good for me, kind of like spirituality, introspection is the process of rewriting that map as you go, as you begin to discover more about yourself. And to be honest with you, overall, with spirituality and having the real world applications, I honestly think it's just so untapped. Because now for myself, right, I have begun to learn lessons that have just empowered my life massively and completely changed they've honestly, like, they've changed everything. And sometimes when I have like eureka moments, I'm like, wow, like this is just mental. Because it's not, all this stuff's already out there. Like, you see people acting on it all the time, but you just, until it resonates with you, you can't use it. And that's a very specific, tailored process. And I think really, like, I want more people to have it, and I love being involved in it.
And the
So yeah,
final thing
expect
that
some heavy David Hawkins breakdowns.
good luck getting the algorithm to favor that.
I've done my research, buddy.
Does. Yeah, the final thing that I wanted to ask.
One fucker watches it, but it will change their life, so it's all good.
Fucking David Hawkins will watch it. I think he's dead as well.
There's 4 right now. I'm hopeful.
There's 3 now. David Hawkins just left.
Bro,
he's like, this fucker's gonna be another Julian ripping off my concept, man.
He's gone to read the book. Relax.
Yeah, he needs a refresh.
He'll be back in 10 hours.
Yeah, he's got the spark. He's got the spark notes, mate. You get the breakdown on there. Yeah, the final thing that I wanted to ask you is if you could have a conversation with yourself, like when you first sent that, because remember you were scared to even email me. Like that's where you were at. If you could have a conversation with yourself when you were scared to send that first email off to me, being like, "Oh shit, I'm not sure if this is for me." Like, if you could have a conversation with yourself, let's say 3 years ago, what advice would you give to that person who you were?
I would. I think for one, I would say for one, immediately just commit to being useful and developing some sort of skill, and whatever that takes. I think I should have committed to that way earlier in life. Like, not a skill that's like, oh, I can kind of do a few kick ups, or I can kind of do this thing. Like, commit to an actual skill where it's like, you can just blow the socks off anyone with it, like as a professional. And then I guess 2 would be, yeah, I mean, I guess it just simply would be just do, like, commit to this journey of pick up social skills, whatever. Because even now, like I was saying to my girlfriend, I kind of have to explain everything to her, like, okay, what this is and what people do and blah blah blah. And then obviously, naturally, she looks at me like, "You're a fucking loser." Yeah. Like, you're a fucking dweeb. And it's like you just have to take it on the chin. Like, yeah, fair enough. Like, it's fair banter. Like, you're always gonna get it. Like, we're British at the end of the day. but take it on the chin and get on with it. And if ultimately, like I was saying to her, like, it served my life so much, and that's why we're here. So it's like, you know, it had to be done.
Yeah, but the thing is as well, mate. Like, we're all fucking dweebs who get into this. Like, everyone who's watching these streams, everyone who's committing to this process, and like myself included, we all started off that way, you know. And I think sometimes like we need to just like stop putting on so much of an act. Like we've got it all figured out. Like the whole reason that we're all here is because at one point in our lives we used to be hopeless losers, right? So being able to just have that authenticity to almost that's why my mantra has always been freedom from bullshit. It's always been a case of not what we can add, what can we take away? Rather than learning more, it's unlearning. It's literally just taking away those shackles of social conditioning so we can connect with our most authentic selves. And our most authentic self might just be scared. He might be lost and lonely and afraid. But I do think that true confidence is optimism in the absence of certainty, meaning that if you can be completely at ease with the darkest of emotions, if you can just sit on your own in a room and just embrace everything that you're feeling and not trying to put on an act for yourself, not trying like bullshit yourself into like, oh yeah, I'm this massive like alpha player, you know, all this bullshit. Like realistically, like it's okay. It's okay to have started off in that place of desperation almost.
Yeah.
And I think we do all carry that child inside of us, you know, the person that we used to be. And I think we have that conflict between the person we used to be, the person we want to be, and the person who we actually are. And I think I'm still learning that myself. Like, I'm not some fucking guru. I'm not sitting here like fucking Belgrade being like, I figured all this out. No, like I'm as anxious and insecure and whatever, probably as I've always been, and I probably always will be that way. But I think that's the point. I don't think it's to try and eradicate the feeling. It's about embracing them and to be at ease with them. And now, you know, people meet me and they're like, "Oh, this guy's loud. This guy's obnoxious. This guy loves himself." But it's like, yeah, I do. But that sense of self adoration has been falling in love with my flaws as well, and not trying to mask everything. And I'm not always the best at doing that. But I think like this conversation that we're having, conversations that I have with other people, like the more I observe the world, I realize that really like things like confidence, they're all costumes that we can choose to wear, right? I think we are all actors at the end of the day. The world's a stage. Like, if someone's got a gun to your head, you could probably get through 20 different emotions in a minute. Like, you can be sad, you can be confident, you can be enigmatic or outrageous if someone forced you to do it. So I just find that's an interesting thing about the human spirit in a way. Like, we are all able to tap into these different emotions. But yeah, no, I think it's important. I think more guys just need to cut themselves a little bit of slack and just be honest with themselves. Great. If you're feeling anxious right now, if you're feeling nervous, that's fine. Just go do the thing anyway, because your future self will be thankful.
And this is what I find, like, it's like hilarious, and it's so right now what you're saying, I get it. I completely resonate, because I've sat into emotions, I've felt them, I've realized, you know what, they don't have power of me anymore. We're all good. But it's like, we say that from a mindset of having experienced it, but when you haven't experienced these things before, when you're right at the start, and it's like, it doesn't matter how loud we scream it in someone's face, they just you don't get it. Like, it doesn't, everything, when you rehear information, it resonates on a completely different level. You understand it on a completely different level, depending on where you're at in your life. So again, I guess this is the point of coaching, to kind of give you the bit that you need, that sends you progressively upwards.
Yeah, I guess it's like if you've never been in a swimming pool before and people are telling you, you know, you need to like move your arms this way, kick your legs like this. When you're diving, you need to get your posture this way. But if you've never been in a swimming pool and you've never swam in like a competitive race, like, it's just wanking in the wind. You've got no idea what they're talking about. It only resonates once you've experienced the thing. So I agree. Like, you can watch this content till the cows come home, but until you're actually out there doing the thing, acting in spite of fear, getting feedback, and actually surrounding you. I think this is the most important thing. Like surrounding yourself with other like-minded guys, so you can have fucking conversations like the one that me and George are having. If you've got a friend, you can like get on the fucking FaceTime and just chat about this stuff, or you've got like a network of guys that you can go to fucking Weatherspoons with and just talk about things and just flesh things out, get advice, get feedback. Like you don't want to be the perpetual lone wolf. You really don't. And like, if you're watching this and you still got ego, you're still like, yeah, I can do it all on my own, then fine, do it. But I guarantee you won't be as fulfilled as you could be if you actually had a good network of people around you. And I had to learn this myself, because I always wanted to be like, right, I'm going to do it all on my own. I don't need anyone else. I don't need a fucking network around me. I don't need feedback. It's my way or the highway. And I had to teach myself, no, Kristian, you can't do it all on your own. You just can't. And it's just a lot more fun when you've got other people to inspire you.
There are just like very obvious kind of fundamental truths of life that, again, they're probably way up here, and we don't even I love how to tilt the camera up, but we don't even really appreciate, right? But that you can obviously just accept as real. So like, if I was to ask you, is it better to take or receive? Like, it's obviously better to give or receive. It's well, I need another option there. It's obviously better to give. Is it better to be by yourself or with people? It's obviously better to be with people. But then what happens is we create these kind of lives and these kind of like methods of protecting ourselves and our ego or whatever that distort the truth from us. But really, all of us know deep down what's up. And the sooner that you can just accept what you innately know is true and just work and then just keep working, the easier like your life's going to be. And a point I want to just rehash quickly from what you said earlier about the kind of expectations of your life and how I thought I was like just a massive loser doing pickup. We all have these expectations of where we want to be and what our life should have looked like, right? And it's accepting the truth of we are where we are, and all we can do is just kind of take one step forward at a time. The sooner you can realize that actually the easier your life's going to be. Like, imagine, right, you always wanted to like have a family and blah blah blah, and it's like, no, like this is what I expected, this is what it's always been, this is what conditioning's telling me. But then it turns out you're gay and you're not going to have kids. It's like, what you can do, you're going to fight that for the rest of your life because you know it's true. So literally, that's why you've got to be committed to your own truth and not expect yourself to be someone or something that you idealized. And really, the irony is, the quicker you can do all this package, and then you're probably more likely to make something special of yourself or something resounding anyway.
Yeah. There's some questions that we can hoover up, and then I'll let you get on with your important day. I think you've got are you getting your ass wax later, or is that tomorrow? Oh, it must be tomorrow. Okay, so are you still there? Right, the question. Yeah, hopefully. I don't know if your connection's gone, mate. Oh, are you back?
Yeah, I'm here.
Right, fine.
Does anyone?
Yeah.
Does anyone want to go on?
Right. The comments. On your side business while watching a Casanova stream, like the Vid Boys. Thank you. We appreciate you. Hi, Kristian. I can see you're in Belgrade. Is Zagreb next? I don't know. No, I don't think so. It's behavior, not personality. Thoughts on canned lines? Question mark. thoughts on canned lines. I think that canned lines are good to get started, or a good like when you just can't think of anything to say. I think it's absolutely fine when you're first starting out with all this like approaching girls to just have something that you can fall back onto, like a crutch, just like something to get you in there, like the whole like who lies more, men or women. I think it's good to just give beginners confidence, knowing that they do have something to say. The problem with canned lines is that they can become a crutch, and you can depend on them, and you're basically just putting on an act or wearing a particular mask in order for girls to like you. So I think canned lines can be fine to get started with. I think we've all got our own default conversational gambits that we fall back onto, but I think you don't want to be dependent on canned lines for long, especially if you're going on dates with girls and you don't really know how to have proper conversations. So I'd say definitely build your conversational skills. It's fine if you do have a few lines that you throw in here and there. Thoughts?
Thoughts on canned lines? It's kind of like a bit of a to all this pickup stuff. To be honest with you, I just think if your mind is in the place of do I need canned lines? It's just like you're just asking the wrong questions. Like, just shut up and go and talk to people. Like, stop asking about canned lines.
You realise that it was Alex who asked that question, right? He's gonna come and shank you.
Not before he gives me an absolutely well-rehearsed one-liner.
Nice. And then the final thing: anxiety is all in your head. It's only real if you think it's real. That's a good comment to end on. Thank you all for your comments. Is there anything else that you want to say before we say au revoir? Like, where can the guys find you? How can the guys connect with you?
Yeah, my channel is Guy Growth. You're obviously more than welcome to check it out. I'm going to be putting out more coherent content in the future. I hope some of the lessons I've kind of already got on there are helpful. But in the future, I really am going to boil this down, and I would love if anyone is around at all who would love to kind of get some kind of like interview therapy type style conversations in, especially if you're in England and you actually just want some help getting out and about. By all means, hit me up and I'll sort you out.
Nice one. I'll put
get your you can.
Yeah, exactly. Get it while you can, mate. Fuck me. Like this is there's gonna be some supreme growth happening over the next few months. So it's like fucking invest now while the price is low.
Yeah, I would love to. And that's what I want for my channel. I want to literally be. I don't want to be doing all this like information, blah blah blah. I want to be showing guys or whoever. I want to change my life. How do I do this? I've got like a plethora of like guys, of information, of audacity, and I'm literally ready to share it. So hit me up privately or just watch my videos in the future, and yeah, I'll help you out.
Nice one. I'll put all of I'll put your links down below, and then the guys can go over, show you some love. Give it time. You'll start to have some very interesting section. So yeah, I look forward to reading over your comments and just seeing some interesting things. But anyway, mate, thank you for your time. We really appreciate you. We'll do more of these in the future, and then when I'm back in London, we can make some high quality content together. Content which surpasses the 10K view mark, I'm hoping for. And yeah, get 100%, mate. Can't wait. Right, nice one. Thank you very much. I'll speak to you again soon.
Well, I feel like you'll be